this is foreshadowing of what your relationship will look like. Run. Hi people, welcome back. If it's your first time, my name is Talia Adewale. This is DISBYDEM. Today we're talking about The Boyfriend, which is a Japanese LGBTQ love. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's a Japanese LGBTQ show which is streaming on Netflix. Do all the right things and let's just get into it. This one I'd seen the trailer. I actually didn't watch it. I saw clips of the trailer and I was like, oh yes, I was definitely gonna watch this because I was interested. It's kind of like the same style as Love Deadline. If you've seen that, I did cover that on my channel. So if you haven't seen it, go check out my reviews. I thought it was okay. It was very, very calm. Like very calm. Like there was little to no drama. The biggest drama, I think, or most emotional thing that went down in that series was that one guy wussed out. The girl went out on a limb for him and he wussed out at the finish line. It was just so disappointing. But it's the same concept. I think it's even the same. It might be the same production team. I'm not sure, but it looks the same to me. But this brings a bunch of guys together. They live in the same house. They work together. The way they fund their lives basically is they run a coffee shop, and the proceeds of the coffee shop is what they use to survive for the entire month. So whatever they make in that coffee shop is what they're going to be, spending for food, toiletries, all that kind of stuff within the house. So far, 6 guys were introduced in episodes 1 and 2, and then in the 3rd episode, a 7th guy was introduced. My guess is that they're going to keep rotating. Oh no, was it a 7? 6 guys in episode 1, 1 more guy in episode 2, and a 3rd guy in episode... Sorry, I don't know what my counting is. And an 8th guy in episode 3, if I'm remembering correctly. But let's just dive on in. We're going to touch on the guys a little bit, and then I'll just give my thoughts. I've only seen 3 episodes so far, so I'll do this first review, and then I'll do, I think, maybe a clumped review for the rest of the season. It just depends on when I watch it. Good Lord knows when that's happening, people. But yeah, let's dive on into it. So we have Dai, who's 22 years old. He is bisexual, and he's Taiwanese. When he first came on, I was like, he kind of looks Taiwanese to me. I've been watching some Taiwanese shows, so I was happy that I got it right. You have Taehyun, who's 34. I don't really know. I'm not really sold on Taehyun yet. He's very much my way is kind of the right way without actually saying my way is the right way. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Ryota is also bisexual. He's 28. I like him. He gives geeky, nerdy, cute, all at the same time. Kind of like him. There's not really much going on for him right now. He likes a certain guy who likes a different guy, which is just the usual thing that happens on shows like this. Gensei is 34. He is a petite firecracker. The person who does his voiceover did not do him justice. I'm not sure why they did that to him. Whenever I'm doing reviews, I usually watch dubbed versions. And then when I go back, to get my clips and everything, I watch the actual original language versions. That's just how I do it because I watch on two times speed. So the dubbed versions actually help me better. Shun is 23. And for Shun, I wrote cute. For Taehyun, I did write hottie. Like, the man is hot. Let's give it to him. But once he starts to speak, I kind of lose interest every single time. I'm not even kidding. So for Shun, I wrote cute. Shun is 23 years old. And there was something off about Shun. Even though I wrote cute, there was just something missing for me. We will dive into that as the episodes go by. Kazuto was introduced, I think, at the end of episode 1. And he's 27. I wrote handsome. Now, the thing about the truck is it's not just the label that they're doing for the show. Just kidding. Japanese shows tend to do that because even in Love Village, they restored this entire house from scratch. And I was like, wow, good on them for the concept. Now, free labor, entertainment, all in one package. It's not just the concept of them selling coffee in a truck. It's the fact that one person will be a shift leader and they choose who they want to sell coffee with for the day. So it's one person spending time. It's 2 people spending time together, getting to know each other and all that kind of stuff, right? So there's a method to their madness, if you understand what I'm saying. It does have a panel. It has Megumi, Shiaki, Thelma, Yoshimi, and then Durian. I think I got all their names right. Hopefully I did. So what they do in this, they send anonymous letters at the end of episode 1. I don't remember if they did that. I think that episode 1 was the only time that they did anonymous letters. Kazuto ended up getting one. He thought it was from either Dai or Shun. It ended up being from Taehyun. Taehyun did not get any. Ryota did not get any. He was so sad. And I was sad for Ryota too. He seems like a very sweet guy. I don't understand why nobody is gravitating towards him. Gensei got one. And Gensei sent one to Dai. Shun got one. He was so negative at the beginning. He's like, he doesn't think anybody will like him. He doesn't like anybody. He's whiny in a very negative way. I did not like Shun. Even by the end of episode 1, I was like, carry your madness and get out of the house. Unfortunately, it looks like he's here to stay, so we're gonna have to deal with that. He also didn't like anybody, so he didn't write a letter to anybody. I'm gonna be sighing a lot for Shun. Shun is the guy, people. Shun is the guy in this series that I am not liking and might not like by the end of it. And then Dai. He got 3. He got one from Gensei, he got one from Kazuto, and he got one from Ryota. D is very charismatic. Like, he has a lot of energy. And he says what he's thinking. He does not hold anything back. And I think that's what people appreciate about him in the house. Like, he's very out there with himself. And he knows who he is the best way I can say it. And he's not afraid to express himself, which I love. So episode 2, by the end of episode 1, I think they introduced us to Usak, who's a go-go dancer, fantastic buddy. He's 36 years old and he moves into the house. His the budget specifically for the entire month is 200,000 yen, which kind of breaks down to 6,000 yen per day for them for food. Mostly. The first shift, Ryota is the first shift leader and he gets to choose one more person to go with him. He ends up choosing Gensei. I'm not sure why Ryota chose Gensei. They'd been talking earlier, I guess, so maybe he just felt comfortable enough to choose him and decided that that's who he was going to spend his day with. They do this thing in the cinematography, which I absolutely love. They go back and forth, where it's not like, oh, moment to moment. It's like maybe they're at the truck right now, Ryota and Gensei are talking, but then they go back to when Ryota was, with other people talking. And I like that, I like the shifts that they make with that. I really do appreciate it because it keeps the show going. It's not like stagnant waiting for each frame, each each group to sit down and talk. So I really enjoy that about it. The next shift we have, during that first shift day, Shun is sick and Dai takes care of him. Dai has this huge crush on Shun. He really thinks that Shun is the one. He's absolutely head over heels about him. Dai spends some time with because I don't know if his name is Dai or not. D spends some time, I can just check. What am I? Dai. I was correct. Okay. So Dai was gushing all up about Shun and how much he likes Shun. So the girls were like, go for it if he's who you like. Second day, Dai is shift leader and obviously he picks Shun. The back and forth scenes again, they do that. We see Ryota likes Shun as well. And Gensei gets the wrong idea about Ryota. Ryota is talking about, how... I think Ryota is talking about connections and how if he wants to either express himself or not. And Gensei just gets the wrong idea thinking that Ryota was talking about him. We love a miscommunication plot. We see it every single series. Every single time there's always that one person. The next shift was Taehyun, who was the shift leader. He picks Shun. Shun is very popular. I don't know. I get it. The guy is really beautiful. Like, aesthetically, he is working perfection or closest to it. I get it. But his attitude is a problem. He's a serious drama queen. Over the top, too. And he's negative. I don't know. And I don't like him for Dai. I just don't. I like Dai. I don't like Shun for Dai. But it is what it is, people. So Taehyun picks Shun. Taehyun seemed to struggle with the service part of the truck that day for sales, interacting with customers, keeping customer orders in check. He really did struggle. They have a conversation late afterwards, but Shun is the kind of guy that if he's not interested, you know. And I think I can respect that about him. If he's not interested, he doesn't tell you, but you will know. You know how they say when if I win the lottery, I won't say anything, but there will be signs. If Shun is not interested, he doesn't say anything, but there are signs. Next day, Shun in his one-on-one, they show us his one-on-one where he said he wasn't really interested in anybody, and that's why he didn't write a letter to anybody, but now he likes Dai. Unfortunately, he whispered this to Ryota during the game. It was a game of Jenga. Whoever lost had to do something. I think that's what it was. But during the game, he said he would only whisper it to Ryota because Ryota was the one who asked the question. And he whispered to Ryota that he likes Dai. He said the first name on the board that where they choose their shift partners and everything. Now Ryota tries to put up a strong face, says that he's happy that Shun talked to him and told him about who his crush was, but he's obviously sad because he likes Shun. Unfortunately, he's not one on the radar for Shun at all. I think Shun just sees him as a pal at best, a buddy at worst. That's just, I feel like that's what Shun takes Ryota for. So next shift we had Gensei, who was the shift leader. He picks Dai, which I was surprised that he picked Dai, but it is what it is. Shun said that Dai would have to demonstrate to him, being Shun, that Shun is the one, because Shun doesn't think that he has it in him too. And I was like, what the actual F? So you're just going to sit there with your titties crossed, waiting for him to come and say, I pick you, you're my person, without giving him any validation, without showing him any emotion, without saying, I want you too. And that's what I don't appreciate. It's selfish behavior. Now, this is only episode 2. We get into Shun's personal story in episode 3. And I did feel for him, but it did not excuse his attitude or his character, if I'm being honest. But we'll get into it. Dai is showing something to Shun on his phone. Shun does what we always do. We go beyond the pictures that, we are being shown. And he sees naked pictures of Dai on Dai's phone. And then completely shuts down. He becomes moody. It was just annoying. It's what it was. He becomes moody. Then he starts crying. And it was there that I said, who hurt this boy? Because somebody has done this to him. There's no way he's like this just for being like that. Like, who hurt him? He then goes into this whole thing about, because of the kind of pictures that he saw on Dai's phone, he thinks that Dai is a player, the kind of pictures that you share on apps. And I was like, okay, fine. I get your sentiment. I get where you're coming from. You don't like things like that. But why are you judging Dai on his past, on things that not on anything he's shown you right now? You're just taking the picture and running with it and assuming. And then making the poor boy, Dai was now apologizing, trying to prove himself that he will... He will prove himself to Shun. He's going to take care of Shun. He's going to prove that he's trustworthy. And I was like, Dai, rest. It's not that deep. If this guy is not interested, walk and find someone who is. This is rubbish. Even the panel was like, it's not fair. The way he reacted was over the top. And it really was. It's not like Dai has cheated on him. Dai hasn't played with any other person. Sorry, excuse me. In fact, Dai has been solely focused on Shun from the beginning. So why Shun was giving him such a hard time because he saw a naked picture of him on his own phone. It's not like he saw the picture on Ryota's phone or Gensei's phone, That would be something different. I don't know. I don't like Shun. I don't like Shun. A fifth shift, Kazuto was the shift leader and he chose Ryota. Kazuto said he'd be leaving for about 3 days for his work. So after the shift, he was gone. He also expressed how he was ashamed of being gay, and he has had to live with that. He has carried that all his life, and he feels selfish, for living his truth because his parents don't necessarily understand. But to pay homage to his parents and his hometown, he's a chef. he uses the products that they grow, all these farm products and I think animals as well. He uses everything from his hometown to show respect in his restaurant. And I thought that was really nice. It's sad that he feels shame, for being himself and being gay, but it is the world that we live in right now. People shame you for being different. So I understand that, but I'm hoping that, maybe coming on this show and making friends who are also gay and having that community will help build his self-esteem and just help him live his authentic life, basically. Shun is still being a baby about the whole thing, and I was just like, no, it's too much. Next shift was Shun. He was the shift leader, and I thought that maybe he would choose someone else because he was still icing Die out, but they cut episode 2. Episode 3 starts and he ended up choosing Die. So he does like Die. But he's doing this thing where Dai has to prove himself, because Shun is he's gold or something, and I hate that. I really do. He hasn't done anything to show Dai that he likes Dai, but he wants Dai to prove himself. It just makes no sense to me. I just can't stand it. I can rant about Shun the entire episode, but we're not doing that. Episode 3 does start. It starts with the decision. Obviously, Shun chooses Die. Ryota is really turned up after Shun's decision, and he puts up a brave face, but you can see he's sad about it. The truck shift was also very awkward. Shun was not talking to Dai. He wasn't even looking in Dai's direction. And it's like, Dai, you see these things that he's doing, right? This is foreshadowing of what your relationship will look like. Run. Nobody needs that. I don't know. But Dai is 23 years old, so he is young, he is in love. He's found this guy that he really likes. He's going to try and make it work, He just wants love in his life as well. So I guess it is what it is. So after the shift, they finally sit down and talk. And then Shun says he literally said the words, this sentence, I want to kiss you to know how I feel. That he's not going to know how he feels until he kisses Dai. So I'm guessing that the physical intimacy is what is going to determine his true emotions for Dai. Dai then goes in for a kiss. Shun turns him down. And I was like, what the actual fuck? Why bring it up if you're just going to turn the boy down? And this is where I wrote, he's playing games. It's mind games. That's what it is. It is manipulation 101. It is the give and take. It's this. I give you something, but I take 2 with the other hand. And I freaking hate it. And unfortunately, Dai does not clock it yet. He still thinks that, this guy likes him, and that's just all it is. I was so pissed off, honestly. I was yelling at my screen. I was really angry. Anyhow, a new guy alert, Alan, who is 29 years old, comes up. He is a ball of energy. I even like him coming in. I was like, too much. Not for being himself. It's just how people are not morning people. I'm not a morning person, and that attitude is what I was taking towards him. I was like, I can just imagine you in the morning, and I don't want to have to deal with that. Alan is Brazilian, Italian, Japanese. He's actually really handsome. He's got flair, and I like him when he's calm, but so far he's only been calm for like 30 seconds. So I'm waiting to see what else, what other charms that he has in the next few episodes. Apparently, Alan knows Usak and Dai. Dai said that they DM'd each other for a bit, but that Alan was in a relationship, so nothing happened. Then he goes on to say they went all the way, but they never dated. So apparently they probably had sex. They don't really explain this to anybody, but as soon as Alan came on the scene and said, Dai, you could just see Shun carry his sour crab attitude and pull that cloud over his head. I was just like, pack your bags and be going. I don't want to even have to see you on my screen, because this is not the character. This is not the energy that I want on this show right now. Taehyun and Dai get into a tiff over, government. You never talk politics. Honestly, I don't talk politics. I don't even watch the news. So if you're talking to me, you're talking to a blank wall, because I'm just going to be like, oh really? No way. I don't talk politics. I just don't do it. It's not me. This leads to Dai walking away just to collect himself after I think Alan kind of wrapped it up in a bow where he just says you choose your happiness, blah blah blah. What Alan said actually, I resonate with that a lot because I do feel like you choose your happiness. But people who are very passionate about topics like politics and standing up to the government, we the people, that doesn't work for them, and I can respect that aspect as well. So Dai had to go collect himself for a bit. He walked off, went into the house for a bit. Shun eventually followed him, which you know what I like, because I know Shun likes him. He's just being a puppet master for no goddamn reason on this show. So it did lead to a breakthrough between Shun and Dai. Dai had said to Shun, I think he said something like, I don't know what you went through in your life that made you the way you are, but I respect that you are the way you are, and hopefully you will share your story with me one day. Paraphrasing, people. Not word for word, but something along those lines. Shun then says, yeah, I'm willing to tell you, I'll tell you now. The dramatic way with which he started the story, Seth, I was like, you're a problem. He said, when I was a baby, I lost my parents. And then he said they left him at an orphanage. Why didn't you just start with, I was abandoned as a baby? Shikena. I just... It's not funny. I'm not laughing at his story. I just can't stand the manipulation. What the fuck is... When I was a baby, I lost my parents. They left me at an orphanage. Like, those two things are different. They're the same, but different. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? I felt for him when I heard the story. It's abandonment issues. And I think that's why he's built this thick wall around himself where it's like, I don't want anybody to leave me again, so you have to prove yourself to me, before I let you in. I get it, but it's not that deep. You've escaped your past. Escape it. You can't escape your past and then carry it in a basket and be towing it along with you. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? I'm not judging him for his past. No. God forbid. It's a hard thing that he has had to deal with. He had to stay in the foster system and the orphanage till he was 18. And then he was able to... He literally says he freed himself. You don't use those words if it wasn't bad situation, right? But you freed yourself. Free yourself. I think he's also been in a slew of relationships where it hasn't really ended well. He said the last guy he dated... he really relied on, and the guy was not good or something. He doesn't really go into detail. He's been through a lot, basically. But it's like, don't take the past, don't take it out on the current or potential relationship that you're going to have, whatever it is that you're carrying. Now, I did go back and watch the previews for episode 1, and I know he's kissing somebody, and I want to think that it was Dai, that he and I were making out in that bed, and I don't know how we go from the end of this episode to that scene, but I guess we'll find out. Anywho, Dai was crying when he was telling his story. Obviously, he felt it. He likes the guy, so he will be empathic to the story. He felt what he was feeling, and I do like the breakthrough, but I still don't like the mind games because Shun is on one, and I just don't like it for Dai. They get a text that it's going to be time for one-on-one dates, but it has to be mutual choice. The usual MO that they usually do. On next morning, they announced who the mutual people that chose each other were. It turned out to be Shun and Dai. Everybody else chose someone different. This was where Gensei realized that he had created an attraction between him and Ryota in his head. And he was coming to the realization that Ryota maybe doesn't like him like that, which is good. This is early. There are people that we've watched. In Love Village, there was this one guy that built this entire relationship from episode 1 to the final episode. In his head, it was like he had built it into... And if you know who I'm talking about. I don't remember his name now, but that was insane. Anywho, the one-on-one dates, they were having fun. It looked like they had fun. I can't really remember what they did. But it looked like they had fun and they talked, at the end of the night. And then Shun all of a sudden says he has lost interest. And I'm like, fucking mind games. He just wants to dangle that carrot in front of him. He likes Dai. Let's get this clear. This boy likes Dai. He just wants to dangle that carrot in front of him because he wants to hold on to the power in the relationship. It's a safety thing. It's a protection mechanism that he has created for himself. And I don't know that it will end well. They might end up picking each other in this show, but in real life, those things don't work out well. Somebody's going to realize that you're manipulating them and eventually still leave you in the dust. So I don't know what's on with Shun. I know, but I don't know. And I feel like he should get therapy and deal with all this stuff because I actually think that he's a cute guy. When he smiles, he is so handsome. He looks so happy. But he rarely smiles and he's always on one negative trend or the other. And then with this mind games and manipulation, I just don't like it. I'm excited to watch episode 4 and on, streaming on Netflix, guys. So feel free to check it out. And if you watched it, don't ruin it for me in the comments. But let me know which guys you like. Who are your favorite guys? Right now, Guy is my favorite guy. Shun is my least favorite guy. I want to see Usak's story, to be honest. He's so quiet and such a macho man. I feel like he has a very soft side, but they haven't actually delved into it yet. So I want to see that. But so far, I'm enjoying it. I will keep you guys updated. I'm pretty sure the last one, the next review might probably be a clump review of all the remaining episodes because we ain't got time for nothing. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the review. Be sure to do all the right things. Follow me on all my social platforms and check out Patreon where all my reactions are now. We really have fun there, and there's some free stuff that you can watch without having to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.